ThaBadbrey Herbalist SR, ancient astrologer. I am here to give you a lesson in ancient astrology. Let's go. Let's get down with this. Right. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to come up with a conclusion as to how long it will take for a bus to arrive at your given location. Okay? As you can see, this is a chart for 6:04 p.m. on Sunday the 5th of February 2017 in London, England, UK. Now, I'm going to give you two methods of how to do this. Let's start with method number one. First of all, we need to find out which planet represents the person asking the question. As I am the person asking the question, the planet we're looking for represents me, basically. So, in order to find this out, this is what we do. We look at the ascendant. The ascendant is over here. Okay, AC, ascendant 29 degrees Leo. The first house, cusp, represents the ascendant. Now, the ruler of the first house, or the ruler of the sign on the first house, or the lord of the first house, yes, represents the person asking the question. As the first house is Leo, and Leo is ruled by the sun represents me, ThaBadbrey Herbalist SR, the person asking the question. The sun is over here in the sixth house. This makes a lot of sense, as I am a male, I am a man, and the sun usually represents a man in astrology, especially with these horary charts. And the fact that the sun is in the sixth house is very descriptive as to what is happening right now, because I am providing a service. I am providing to you a lesson in ancient astrology. And the sixth house represents service, traditionally speaking. Therefore, the sun representing me being a man within the sixth house of service actually shows that I am a man and I'm providing a service to you. And I'm teaching you ancient astrology. That's the first thing. So therefore, we've come to the conclusion that the sun represents the person asking the question. The sun represents ThaBadbrey Herbalist SR. Okay? The next thing we want to do is find out which planet represents the bus itself. Now, traditionally speaking, the third house represents any type of movable mode of transport. Therefore, a bus, a train, a bicycle, anything that is a mode of transport is represented by the third house and its lord. Therefore, we go to the third house. As we can see here, this proportion here is the third house, and the third house, cusp, is on the sign of Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Therefore, we know that Venus represents the bus itself. Where is Venus located in the chart? As we can see over here, Venus is in the chart over here in Aries. All right. Now that we have come to a viable conclusion as to what planet represents the bus and which planet represents the person asking the question, in order to find out how long it will take for the mode of transport to arrive at my location, all you do is look at the degrees of the two planets and minus the smaller one from the larger one. I.e., we look at the degrees of the sun, and as we can see in this window here, the sun is at 17 degrees, and we look at the degrees of Venus. Venus over here is at 1 degree. Therefore, 17 minus 1 is 16. Therefore, we can come to the conclusion that within 16 degrees, the bus will arrive. This translates as either 16 minutes or 1.6 minutes. And in some cases, 1.6 hours. However, based on my common sense as to how long it usually takes for a bus to arrive, I know that it's more likely for the bus to arrive within 1.6 minutes or 16 minutes. That's method number one. Method number two. What we do is we need to find out which planet represents the place that I am actually sitting. I.e., if I was at the bus stop, then we need to find out which planet represents the bus stop. If I'm sitting in my house, which I am now, we need to find out which planet represents the house I'm sitting in. In this case, using ancient astrological aphorisms, we know that the fourth house represents a domestic environment. Therefore, the fourth house, which is over here, this proportion here is the fourth house. The cusp of the fourth house, which is this line here, is the cusp. And due to the fact that the cusp of the fourth house is on the sign of Scorpio, and Scorpio is traditionally ruled by Mars, we can come to the conclusion that Mars represents the place that I am sitting. Therefore, Mars represents my house. So we need to find where Mars is in the chart itself. Mars is over here, right next to Venus in the chart. Okay? Right in Aries, in his domicile. So, in order to find out how long it will actually take for the bus to arrive, we need to find out which planet represents the bus. Now, we know using ancient astrological aphorisms and rules and formulae, we know that the moon represents anything movable, anything that moves swiftly, anything that moves quickly, or anything that's supposed to move swiftly, in this case, the bus, will be represented by the moon. Therefore, the moon, in this case, represents the bus itself. So in order for us to find out how long it will take for the bus to arrive at my house, we need to find out the degrees between the moon, because she represents the bus, and Mars, because he represents my house. So we go to this window, and as we can see, the moon is at 7 degrees, well, just under 8 degrees. So I would round this off as the moon being at 8 degrees Gemini, and Mars being at 6 degrees Aries. And we minus them from each other. So 8 minus 6 is 2. Therefore, we come to the conclusion that it will take about 2 minutes for the bus to arrive. Now, due to the fact that within this method, we got the answer for how long it will take for the bus to arrive at our location, the answer we got was 2 minutes. And in the first method, the answer we got was 16 minutes. Therefore, those two answers do not add up. So what we do, we go back to method 2, and we say, it looks like it should take about 2 minutes. But if you add the degrees of Mars to the degrees of the moon, what you actually get is 14 minutes. So therefore, we can come to the conclusion that using method 2, that it will take, the time it will take for the bus to arrive at our location, i.e. how long it will take for the bus to arrive at my house, it will take anywhere from 2 minutes to 14 minutes. So if the bus doesn't arrive in 2 minutes time, then it will arrive in 14 minutes time. And using method 1, if the bus doesn't arrive in 1.6 minutes, it will arrive in 16 minutes. Those are two methods. And as we can see, using the symbolism seen in the chart, as well as the position of the planets themselves, and using the rules of ancient astrology, we can come to a viable conclusion as to how long it will take for a bus to arrive at a given location. Now, bear in mind that these are only two methods I've actually given you. And usually if I am actually doing this for myself and I'm waiting at the bus stop, I will take my phone out, my smartphone, my Android, and what I will do is pull up a chart on my phone. And I would go through about 3 to 4, sometimes 5 methods to find out how long it will take for a bus to actually arrive. And the numbers that keep on coming up the most are the numbers I would usually take into consideration and say that's more likely how long it will take for the bus to actually arrive. I usually get within an accuracy of 86 to 90% each time I use this method. Okay? So you can use it for yourself and see how well you actually do with it. You can experiment with it. But please bear in mind, these are only two methods. There's lots of other methods you can actually use to find out how long it will take for a bus to arrive at a given location. But for now, I'm just keeping it plain and simple for you. If you have basic understanding of astrology and the actual signs and what planets rule the signs and what each house represents, you can easily come to a conclusion very quickly as to how long it will actually take for a bus to arrive at a given location. There you go. Two methods of how to find out how long it will take for a bus to arrive at a given location within 86 to 90% accuracy most of the time. All right? ThaBadbrey Herbalist Assar, ancient astrologer. Stay tuned for more lessons.